All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, Wednesday, October 6th, for our cybersecurity awareness session with the Better Business Bureau. We've got Sarah Lutz. Is that how you pronounce it? I
Yes,
said Lutz
Sarah,
last week.
Sarah Lutz is great. I respond to pretty much anything. So we're good.
Well, thank you for joining us, Sarah, and thank you everyone else for joining us. I'm going to let you take it away and inform us all about cybersecurity and what we can do to protect ourselves.
Now, do we want to wait just a few more minutes just in case anybody comes in later, or do we want to take it away? Either or.
I'll let you take it away and I'll let them in. I'll keep an eye on this since the other two showed up on time.
And we're going to save questions until the end of the presentation. You can either unmute yourself at the very end and then ask them, or you can also use the chat option. Either way, we'll have that as an option at the very end of the presentation. So thank you all so much. And we'll jump right in. So like the introduction, my name is Sarah Lutz, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you so very much for everyone for coming today. I am from the Better Business Bureau serving Western Virginia. A little bit about us is that we are an unbiased nonprofit organization. A lot of individuals think that we are related with the government or related with police and those administrations, but we are actually a nonprofit organization. It makes sense though, because bureau at the end of our name, a lot of people think that it's government related. We are located all across North America, so Canada, United States, and Mexico. My home office here is in Roanoke, Virginia, and we do serve 32 surrounding counties and cities. So it's about a 2.5, 3-hour radius. We have the International Association of Better Business Bureaus, which is over all of us. And our website is bbb.org. Some of you might be familiar with it. When you go online, and you'll see in the next slide, you can look up business profiles of specific businesses. You can even look at categories. Let's say it's contractors or plumbers. If you type that in and then your area code, you'll be able to see all the businesses that we have in our database. We also have the Institute for Marketplace Trust, which are educational programs just like this. We have many more online that you can check out as well. And then we also have our BBB Wise Giving Alliance, which ties in with give.org, and that is our charity review process. So this is our website. As you can see here, you can type in the business, the category, or even the charity name, and you can type in the city or state or even your zip code, and it'll populate all of the businesses we have in our database. From there, once you click into the business name, you'll be able to see the business's contact information, if they are an accredited business, if they have any complaints or reviews from previous customers. You'll also be able to see the BBB rating, and our rating system is from A+ to F, just like in grade school. Online on our website, you can also file a complaint on a business, which is our dispute resolution process. And like I said earlier, we are a non-biased third party. So that does not mean that we are necessarily for the consumer or for the business. We are there to help everybody involved come to a desired resolution. Or the mediator. You can also leave a review online as well. And the difference between a complaint and a review is that a complaint has a specified desired resolution, and a review is just talking about your experience as a consumer. We always encourage individuals to leave a review, especially if it is good and a business that you worked with had wonderful service and they did a great job. It's wonderful to let the business know. And that way other consumers can go online to their profile and learn more about the business and its business practices and how it works with its customers. We also have down at the bottom, you'll see our latest news. This is where we put out news alerts, our scam alerts. If there is a specific scam going on in our area, or it's a specific scam that is related to this time of year, we'll put out alerts so that way our consumers and businesses are aware of what's happening. You can also get tips like how to shop small on Small Business Saturday and support your community. Or down there, you'll see the example of Black Friday and Cyber Monday shopping tips. We also have business tips as well. And this is an example of our BBB accredited business seal and then the A+ rating. Hopefully you all have seen the BBB accredited business seal online or around your town. Let's see. And we also have what's called our BBB Scam Tracker. So this is one of my favorite things, and it relates very closely to what I do. I wish that we did not have to have our scam tracker, but since scams are unfortunately out in the world, they're here to stay, and they're constantly evolving. This is a wonderful tool that we have. And as you can see in the top right corner, there's an option to report a scam. So all of the scams that are reported to us are then shown in this heat map. As you can see, it's Canada, United States, Mexico. On all the dots are scams that are happening in real time. Down at the bottom, you can see the date of the scam type, the postal code that the scam is occurring in, and if there are any dollars lost, and you can even see more details. What's great about this is you can also, if you look to the left, there's a search for scams. If you think you are involved in a scam or a scammer was targeting you, you can put in a keyword of that scam. One of the most impersonated organizations this past year of 2020 was the Social Security Administration. I think most everybody has received the spam calls stating that your Social Security number has been compromised. So if you're wondering if that is a scam, you can always put in the keyword search and see if other individuals have had similar interactions. We do know that if the Social Security Administration, the IRS office, Medicare, Medicaid, if it's a government office that's calling you, it's most likely a scam. But if there is a scam or you think it might be a scam that you haven't heard of, this is a great way to look that up. What you can also do is put in your area code or the city you live in, and it'll pop up with that area. So this is a zoomed in of Roanoke. You can see scams that are happening in your area in real time. This is wonderful because, again, if you think you're being scammed or you're wondering if there are any scams happening, you can look this up. Previously, we had around winter, we had phone calls coming in about a utility scam or a utility company calling our consumers saying, oh, your power will be shut off or something's wrong with your account and we need your information to verify. We started recognizing a pattern because of the consumers reporting it, whether online or calling it in and reporting it. And it turns out the scammer was going down a phone book or the customer list and calling everyone. And we knew that because everyone calling in had the last name starting with R. So what we could do is realize, okay, this is targeting our area. It's targeting individuals by name. We can put out a press release and warn people so that way they do not fall victim to the scam. So this is a great tool for us. We also use this information to put out reports on scammers, scam tactics, and how scams might be evolving and affecting individuals every year. We also take this information and report it to police departments and the crime department. So we get to work with them as well on that. And if you ever want to look for the scam or report a scam, please do so at bbb.org/scam tracker. So October, there are wonderful things that come with October, like Halloween, fun trick-or-treating or trunk or treat. You have the crisp fall air. We're finally starting to get that nice colder weather. We have the falling leaves. Here in Virginia, it is great because we do have the season change. It's absolutely beautiful. Obviously, pumpkin spice lattes. We have to go get the fun flavors. But most importantly, October means it is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And this is a month dedicated to ensuring everyone is aware of cybersecurity threats, cybersecurity risks, and then how to avoid them. And this is a national effort. There are multiple organizations and the government working towards explaining what is going on to consumers and making sure that they're prepared of how to recognize and then how to avoid the risks, and also what happens if you did fall victim to a cybersecurity threat. So normally here we talk about kind of what scams we've encountered. A lot of the times it might be a scam, tech scam specifically, especially since it's cybersecurity, saying that maybe it's a call saying, we've noticed that your laptop, your computer, your phone has a virus and we'd love to help. Please provide access to your computer. For there, we know that it's a scam because how would they know through a phone call if your computer, or if your phone, if your laptop has a scam on it, has a virus on it? The same with any pop-ups online. Cybersecurity can also mean phishing scams as well, whether that's a text message, an email, a phone call saying something's wrong with your account, something's wrong with your computer, please click here and we can help. This could also be hacking into your account or hacking into your computer. And we will talk more about that in the next couple slides. So what exactly is a cybersecurity threat? I did give some examples just now, but going over it, it's any attack on a computer, a mobile device, and/or related networks. Any attempt by an outside party or hacker to disable, destroy, steal, or gain unauthorized access or make use of variable information. And here it's good to point out that it's not just, oh, we want your information, please provide it. It could also be access to your computer. So that way they have access to all your information, not just a credit card or a bank account. But this, if you give access to your computer to somebody, that means access to all your passwords. Access to any files that you might have on your desktop or your laptop, whether that's just photos or more personal files like taxes. Another cybersecurity threat would be installing spyware, malware, or viruses on a personal computer or mobile device. So what are the Internet of Things? I will refer to this throughout the presentation, and so a little bit of information about the Internet of Things, or IoT devices, are any smart devices. That's phones, your car, your fridge, a baby monitor, a doorbell, air conditioner, window blinds, etc. You might have heard in the past couple years of different hacking incidents, one being baby monitors. There were individuals that hacked into the baby monitor, and so they could not only see the child in the room and see what's happening in the room, but they could also communicate with the child, which is extremely upsetting for all parties involved, because you never know what they're doing with that image or information, or what they're saying to your kid. Another one was the doorbell. There are a lot of the IoT doorbells where there are incidents where people have hacked in so they can see what's happening at your home. And you might not think that other devices, like maybe a fridge with the new tablet built into it, or even window blinds that are connected to your phone, or air conditioners that are connected to your phone, where you can either close the blinds or change something going on in your house. Even lights that are connected to your phone are part of the IoT world. And if somebody hacks into your router or your Wi-Fi network, or hacks into your phone, which is where you control those things, they can start messing with those devices. Phishing emails, or phishing in general, emails, messages, and phones, is an easy way for hackers and for scammers to gain access. We'll go on later on about how to tell what is a fake email and what isn't, and how to make sure that you don't click on hyperlinks. For phone calls, I know a lot of individuals mentioned they have phone calls every single day, and how can you go about stopping those? Well, if it is a legitimate business, there is a do not call registry, which is great, but for scammers, they're already doing something that are illegal. They do not care about that registry. So the best thing that you can do is do not answer the phone if you do not recognize the number. Let it go straight to voicemail. If it's somebody important, they will leave a voicemail and you can always call back. You can also talk to your phone provider, whether that's a house phone, a cell phone, and you can see if there are any layers of protection in place. I have it set up where my phone, if it does not recognize the number, it sends it straight to spam or straight to voicemail. So that way they can leave a message. Another thing about that, though, is with any fake email, message, or phone call, they might leave a phone number for you to contact them back. I always suggest to be very wary be very wary of any phone number that is left with you, because if it is a scammer, they could easily give you a fake number that doesn't actually lead back to the legitimate organization. So you can always call BBB. You can go online to bbb.org and search for the specific business's contact information, and we can provide it to you. If it is a government organization or another well-known organization, you can do an internet search and go to their specific website and get their contact information. Don't just rely on the contact information that a potential scammer might have left you. Another part of the cybersecurity threats is cryptocurrency. And that is a form of online payment that fluctuates in value. And so for a lot of, it's highly unregulated and it's rapidly growing. And the cryptocurrency markets are rich in treats for tricksters since it's not heavily regulated. Cryptocurrency or crypto is an online form of payment that can fluctuate in value, and crypto trading platforms can be high ticket playgrounds for hackers who, it's called pump and dump schemers who vanish into the night after they take your money. Crypto scams can spread through, you guessed it, social media. A lot of scams unfortunately spread through social media, but that is a big one for cryptocurrency. Some people might be posting about it, saying they're involved. Maybe they're using it as a part of a promotional effort, or maybe it could be a friend that hopped into the cryptocurrency and they're like, oh, I'm using this, you can too. And you do have to be very wary of that. BBB Scam Tracker received over 250 reports from cryptocurrency scam victims. And of these, nearly half of those who reported lost $1,000 or more. And 15% of those who reported lost $10,000 or more. So you can see it is unfortunately a very high ticket scam for scammers where they do receive a lot of money. So if you can connect it, you should protect it. Cybersecurity Awareness Month is about taking proactive steps to enhance cybersecurity at home and in the workplace. And so these are different numbers that relate back to just how important it is to take cybersecurity seriously and take proper actions to protect yourself. More than 41 billion IoT devices, so Internet of Things devices, will be around by 2027. This is 3 times more than there were in 2019. So we know that this is the way of the future. The Jetsons is becoming a reality, and everything, or most everything, will be hooked back up to the internet. We already see this happening with doorbells, like I've mentioned, with even just air conditioning or lights at home. Everything can tie back to your phone, tie back to the internet, and how you can control it and use it, which is great, and it can be so helpful, but it can also open you up to numerous scams. 75% of devices in IoT attacks are routers. So if you have a router at home, which most people do, if it's providing you Wi-Fi connection, is an easy way and a very common way that scammers are hacking into accounts. So once plugged into the internet, connected devices are attacked within 5 minutes and targeted by specific exploits within 24 hours. So there's not necessarily a buffer period of, oh, well, I'm online and I've been online and I feel safe, everything's okay. It's going to happen immediately, and you need to make sure that you've already set in measures to protect yourself before it's too late. We know that everyone and anyone is logging on. Everybody, or most everyone, has some form of access to the internet and or is using it on a regular basis, especially with social media. So consumers tend to be less wary on social media, and scammers do take advantage of that feeling of safety. And the reason why is people are on social media, they think it is a safe place. You connect with friends, you know the individuals, you accept them as your friends. So there's a vetting process of sorts, especially if you set your profile to private. That private profile setting also makes you feel secure because you're like, oh, well, I don't have that information as public. How can somebody find that? But we do know if that it is on the internet, it can be found, and there's always going to be a trail. So of those exposed to a scam on social media, 91% engaged with a scammer. So that is saying that if you are online, most of the individuals that encountered a scam might not, they did not recognize it at first. They might assume that it is actually their friend contacting them, or it's an organization or a page that is legitimate. That happened a lot this past year with government grants and loans. We had lots of reports from consumers saying they received a message from a friend saying, this XYZ government organization or government loan helped them, and it can help you too. Here is contact information for the individual that helped me. And then it links to a new profile. And normally what happens with that is, one, your friend's account has been hacked, and so they are now, it's now been exposed to a scammer and they're using it. Or two, they duplicated the account of your friend and they're posing as your friend either way. With that, we always say that if you know the person and have another form of contact, hopefully you have their phone number or you know them in real life, you should reach out to them first and not automatically believe that it's your friend and trust it online. Another statistic is 53% of those exposed to a scam on social media lost money. We also had another statistic, and it was 49% to 47 to 49, almost 50% of individuals who are also exposed to online scams, so not just on social media, but online in general, also lost money. So almost half, and then here over half of individuals who are exposed to a scam are falling victim to it and not recognizing that it is a scam and not recognizing it for what it is. Half of all social media logins are fraudulent, which first off, when you first hear it, you're like, okay, that's a little scary, but it's especially scary since people are logging on constantly. We every few minutes, every few seconds, people are logging online, which means that half the people that you are talking to online have a possibility of being hacked or being a scammer. And then 1/4 of new social media account applications are fake. So these are accounts that aren't real or legitimate people. And so we know that there is a number of accounts out there that are already like that. So you have to be diligent when you are online, whether the internet or social media, because we know we have stats that show that it could be a scammer you're talking to. It's highly likely that it's not actually your friend that you are talking to, especially if they're trying to get you to buy into an organization or pay money to you or pay money to them. So the top reasons for engaging with a scammer is it seemed official. Scammers spend a lot of time and effort into making their website, making their point of contact feel legitimate. It'll look like a real website. They'll add information that's like, wow, this seems like a real business. They've added all this information about where they're located, maybe contact information. They have details on their product. Another is that maybe they're calling you up saying, my name is Sarah and I'm with BBB. Here is my badge number, 123 XYZ. You can also speak to my supervisor. Their name is Edward and their badge number is ABC 678. So they'll make it seem like it is a legitimate business. They'll make it seem that it's official. They want to put effort into it because the more likely
Looks like Sarah got kicked out. Give me 1 second. We'll try to get her back in here. Hey, Sarah, I think I've got you back in here.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, I can hear you.
It seems like the library is the very lucky one that always gets the internet.
It's okay.
So I'm so sorry. It really is. Whenever I'm on a presentation, it never happens else otherwise.
Okay. That's how it goes.
What was the last part that you heard?
Oh.
I don't know if it went out while I was still talking.
Yeah, it went out while you were still talking. I think you had just gotten to this.
Did you hear anything about
It
seeming
seemed official. Yeah, that's where we were. You were talking about Edward, the supervisor.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, yeah, we got there.
Perfect. So I was only talking to myself for a couple minutes afterwards. All right, wonderful. So, so Edward, my supervisor, Edward, whose badge number is ABC 789. They'll put lots of levels and lots of effort and time into making it seem official, and making who you're talking to seem like they know what they're talking about. Another reason that people engaged is that they were under pressure, or they felt like they had to make a decision immediately, which is a common scam tactic that scammers use. Because when you feel like you have to make a decision and you don't have time to think, you don't take the time to say, wait a minute, there might be some red flags. This seems like an issue. This could be if it's a utility scam, or if you have a specific service that you've paid for, saying if you don't pay for your outdated or your late payments, we're going to turn off your power or shut off your service within 30 minutes. This could also be with Social Security Administration calls saying, your Social Security number has been part of a crime. We will send the police after you, or you'll be taken to prison or taken to court. And so they want to scare you, and they want to make you feel like you don't have the time to figure out what's going on. Another reason for engaging is that they were just nice, which sounds a little silly, but it's true, especially with this past year. A lot of people were isolated, they were quarantined. We know that the more isolated a person is, if there are feelings of loneliness, the more likely that they are going to fall for a scam. So they might be calling you or contacting you and seeming not only official, but they were very kind. They're saying that they're going to help you, that they care about you. Or they could just start talking to you about your life, getting more information from you. This also ties back into other scams like romance scams or a relationship scam. And as individuals, we do want to believe that people are inherently good. And we also see this with our different age demographics. The older age demographics seem to be more trusting of individuals. So that ties back into believing what they're saying, especially if they are nice. Another reason people engage is that they didn't want to miss out. Maybe it was an extremely great offer, whether you see it online or they're talking to you on the phone. Wow, that's a great price. And if I don't take it now, I might lose it. Or maybe they say you only have the next hour until this opportunity is gone. So if somebody's telling you that you have a very limited amount of time, maybe and you have to make a decision very quickly, that's another way they're making you feel under pressure. So you don't think about it, you don't take a step back, and you don't do your research on the business or person you're talking to. And finally, another reason for engaging is that they knew their personal information. And you might have somebody that's talking to you saying, well, here's your name, your phone number, your address, your birthday. They could even find your information on the secondary question that sometimes you have to fill out of what's your childhood best friend's name, the first street you lived on, the name of your dog, the type of car you owned. They could even find out that information, or even the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. That is what we've had individuals say that in previous jobs, they had to use their social security number as an identification number. Maybe it's the last 4 digits they use to sign in. So that number could be out there as well, the last 4 digits. And then when I was talking about the first car you owned or the name of your best friend, that information could all be online. That could be posted on social media. Maybe you took a quiz on social media and you gave that information up, and then it can be used against you. So you do have to be very careful of what you're posting online as well. See? So how do you protect yourself against these scams and against cybersecurity threats? First thing is the Internet of Things safety. So we talked about what IoT devices are. And the first thing that you can do is to secure your network. So secure your router and your Wi-Fi network that you have at home. And how you do this is by making sure you have the latest router firmware and that you've changed the default password. A lot of times once people get a router and get their Wi-Fi set up for their house, there's a password that comes with it and they just leave it as is. Well, that password might be not very different from another password that a scammer already found out. So make sure you change that to something that is going to be hard to guess, not your name, preferably, or something that is easy to find online. The same for when you're setting up your Wi-Fi name. I would not put that, this is Sierra Litz's Wi-Fi, because that's very easy to then, oh, well, let me go find her online and see if I can guess her password. I always suggest using a short verb or quote, not verb, a short blurb or quote. So that way it is easy for you to remember, but not something that they could find online from your name or your middle name or your child's name or so on and so forth. Also, the next thing you need to do is to hide your network so it flies under the radar. Again, that's by saying not putting your name as the Wi-Fi network. Also, be sure to change your Wi-Fi password regularly to avoid any cyber attacks. And then a bonus point if you turn your Wi-Fi off when it's not in use. So if you're going on vacation and you don't need that Wi-Fi network, you can always turn it off for the time being and then turn it back on once you get home. Next is to create a guest network. So instead of when you have guests over, giving them access to your network, which then gives so they have access and hopefully they are trustworthy friends, but let's say their device ends up getting hacked and they have the password for your network. So now a hacker could get your password from your friend's phone. So creating a guest network for them. Another thing is to manage your IoT devices. So anything that connects to the internet, whether it's printer, your fridge, a doorbell, so on and so forth, make sure that you have that set up. Maybe use that guest network so it's not on your immediate network, which connects back to your computer and back to your phone, which has important information. That way, if the toaster or another connected item gets attacked, it won't act as a gateway to your computer, your phone, or other technology that can give access to sensitive information. You can also use a virtual private network. What this is often called as a VPN, and it prevents others from seeing what you do online. It secures your internet connection and encrypts the data that you send and receive, which is protecting your privacy. A lot of individuals started working from home this past year, started working remotely, and so a VPN, a virtual private network, is great to have for that. That way your private information and then also business information can be protected, and because if a hacker hacks into your account and you're working from home or you use your computer for a business, not only do they have your personal information, but they have access to any of information that comes from your business or place of work. Another thing is to protect your computers and mobile devices. So this is from viruses, spyware, malware, ransomware. One of the best things that you can do is to make sure that all of your devices have upgrades from the company. Lots of companies put out upgrades all the time. The past couple weeks, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, you had Apple that recently put out a statement saying that if you have an Apple device, make sure you have the most recent update, because there is a security threat, and we fix that in the upgrade, so that way it's no longer a threat for you. So I suggest routinely checking your devices to see if there are any upgrades because that comes with protection from the company. Also, making sure that you have extra protection, like I said, whether that is protection from malware, and making sure that you take as many possible, you have as many possible layers of protection on your devices so you do not get hacked. We'll move forward. So I earlier talked about how you need to make sure that you don't fall for a phishing scam. And the easiest way to do this when it comes to emails is checking who it actually is from. That is the biggest and easiest way that you can prevent a scammer from contacting you and you falling for it. What you can do is go up to the From section, and if you click on it or double click on it, you might have to double click, what will pop up is the actual email that the person is emailing you from, because they can make the from look like anything. So just like with caller ID, they can make caller ID look like any number or any organization. The same with emails. So this example email, it says it's coming from Apple Inc., but then when you click into it, you realize it's not actually coming from Apple, it's coming from a different organization. So if you see an email that's coming to you that looks like it's from a friend or from a company you know, double click into that, make sure it's actually coming from the legitimate organization. The next thing you can do is to check for any branding errors. Companies, especially large corporations, put a lot of time and effort and money into making sure all of their communication to their customers is correct and looks good. So this example email, you see that the T is capitalized in the logo, but then when you look into the copy of the email, the T is lowercase. Companies are not going to make those errors. They're going to catch that before they're sending it out. You can also look for spelling errors and grammar errors. And if you see those, that's another easy way to say, oh, wait a minute, something looks wrong. That's a red flag. What this email is trying to do, though, is saying that your account has been frozen and you need to validate your account information. Please click the hyperlink below to validate your account. So you see where that get started hyperlink is. Never click a hyperlink that you don't know where it's going, or you can just say never click a hyperlink if you're wanting to be extremely prepared and be very wary. But what you can do if you're like, okay, well maybe this does look legitimate. Where's that hyperlink taking me? So what you want to do is hover your cursor over the hyperlink. Don't click into it, don't double click. I know I mentioned clicking into the email address up top, but for hyperlinks, just hover your cursor over. You might have to wait 5 or 10 seconds for the hyperlink to pop up, which you'll see in a moment. If it doesn't happen immediately, move your cursor away, maybe shake it around a little bit, and then come back and hover over again. What should happen is the actual hyperlink should pop up and it should tell you where that link is going. So in the email, it's saying this is an Apple link and it should take you to your Apple account or your iTunes account specifically. What this is actually showing is that it is a random URL and it's not taking you somewhere safe. So that is how you can make sure that the email that you've received is coming from the legitimate person or organization, and also how to tell if the hyperlink is taking you to a safe link or if it's taking you to a random link. So what about websites? We've talked about how cyber threats can come from going to the wrong website or clicking into the wrong hyperlink. Well, once you are at a website, or if you're trying to see if it is a legitimate business, maybe you're shopping online, the holidays are coming up, the first thing that you should look out for is what does it say on the website itself? Because when creating a website, they can make the web page say anything they want. So just because this website says it is a secure server does not mean it's actually secure. So don't believe everything you see on the website page, on the web page. What you can also do is go in the top hand corner of that URL, and there should be a lock icon if it's secure. So you want to look for that lock icon. What you also want to look for is under HTTP, you see that there's only HTTP. You want to look for the HTTPS. You can think of that S as meaning secure. So the website should always have HTTPS. If it doesn't, I'm very hesitant about putting any of my information into that website. So how can you check to see if the website is secure? How can we take it a step further? So if you click on the lock icon, what should pop up is a box that says connection is secure or connection is insecure, or the connection is unsecure. What you then want to do is click on where it says certificate valid. So even if the connection is secure, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a real website. So we want to go a step further to check. So certificate valid. What should pop up is one of the two of these pop-ups. The left is for Windows computers and the right is on Mac computers. And what you're looking for is the validity date. So on the left side, you'll see valid from, and then on the right box, you should see not valid before or not valid after at the very bottom. What you're looking for is how long is that website valid? Both of these show 2 years, which is great. If it shows only 3 months, or maybe it shows that the website was created last week, that is a red flag right there. The point of the main goal of a business is to create money for as long as possible. So they want to stay in business. Their website's not just going to pop up yesterday if it was a business that's been around for many years, and they're not just going to have 3 months. Some organization might just have their website for 3 months. So I would be hesitant, but this is a good way to see if there might be a red flag here. Now let's say you want to go a step even further. You're still a little suspicious about this. What you can do is on the website, anywhere on the web page, if you right click, or maybe it's a double click, depending if you're using a mouse or a cursor, right click, and what will pop up is this, another box, and you'll see view page source. You'll click view page source, and this is going to look like a lot at first, but I promise it's pretty easy to read because we only need it for one thing. What you're going to do is look in the first paragraph, and that's what I call it. I know people who know code, who know HTML, are probably like, that is not what you call it, but that's what I call it since I don't know HTML code. So within that first paragraph, you're looking for the URL address. So you can see where the arrow is pointing. I used our website as an example. And so this is our local website. As you can see, it's bbb.org. You see the HTTPS at the beginning. It's bbb.org. You see that it's local and BBB of Western Virginia. It's not 2 miles long. That's a red flag if you're on the homepage of a website and the URL just drags on forever. You can see that it says bbb.org. What might happen is a scammer might try to make the website's URL at the very top of the page look like it says bbb.org. But when you go into the back end of the website, like we are now, you can see that it's actually b.b.b.org. And you can see these slight variations. So that is a double extra step that you can take to make sure a website is legitimate. So let's talk about what data is collected from businesses. Another way to prevent cybersecurity threats is to make sure that you know what information you're sharing with companies. In the past years, we've seen that legitimate companies and even large companies do have cyber attacks, and hackers can hack into their businesses and collect consumers' information and then use that against the consumer. So what data is collected from the business? Whenever you are working, wanting to buy from a company, if you're online, maybe you have to provide your information over the phone or even in person, you need to know what they're wanting. So is it a name? Are they trying to collect your home address, email address, phone numbers, credit card information? Maybe it's even your IP address, which shows what computer you're working from and where it's located. This could also be consumer interest or purchase histories or demographic information. Maybe you've noticed on certain websites and certain searches, you have recently searched for baseball. You like the color blue, so your past searches are all about blue. You also love hats. Well, you might notice that in future searches, you'll see advertisements for blue baseball hats, because other websites that you've previously gone to or search engines that you've used have collected the data from you, whether that's your interest or your purchase histories, and then have either sold that information to other advertisers or used it to better curate your ads for you. So online, you should be able to see a privacy policies, or terms and conditions, which shows you exactly what information they're collecting. If you can also contact the company themselves and ask what information they're collecting. And if a company does not want to tell you what information they're collecting, that is a red flag, because why would they hide that information? What you also need to be careful is third-party providers. So if you're buying something online, and let's say that company uses a payment processor of some kind, well, what information is that payment processor collecting, and what are they keeping from you? So you need to go to the payment processor or whatever form of payment they're using, go to their website and see what information they collect from you as well. So how customers can control the data. Every business should provide some form of contact for you. If you go online and you're trying to see if a business and a website is legitimate, and you look at their contact page and they don't provide an email address for you to contact, a phone number for you to contact, they don't provide an address, I immediately think that that is a red flag, because how am I supposed to confirm that the business is legitimate where they are? How can I contact them if I want to do any of the above, below, which is changing my password? Maybe I want to unsubscribe from a mailing list. If I want to close my account, or if I have problems with something I've ordered or a service of the website. So that is a red flag if a company does not provide that information to you. Next is how the data is collected. So we've looked into what they're collecting. We've looked into, can I contact them about the data they're collecting? But how are they collecting it? So whenever you are putting your information in, a lot of times businesses, when you're putting information in at the bottom, will have a checkbox that's already checked saying that you are opting into emails, you're opting into marketing efforts. So make sure that you know what you're filling out if you're opting into something. If it's an online form, what exactly are they collecting from you? What are they using? What platform are they using? Are they keeping credit card data? You might even see in the top of your, if you're searching for something, you're going to a website, a notification about cookies saying this website uses cookies. And if that pops up, it should also provide you with an option of saying, this is the data we're collecting, this is how we're collecting it, how we're storing it. And you can opt out of a lot of cookies. Or you can even put up ad blockers or cookie blockers that you can add to your browsing websites. So how is the data used? This is extremely important information, because when a business receives all that data, what are they doing with it? Are they just keeping it, or do they have, if you sign up, do you automatically grant them permission to then share that with a partner business or an affiliate service that they're using? Or can they sell your information to a different company? So ask the company how the data is being used, or go online to their website, look at their privacy policy, the terms and conditions, and it should say how they're using the data and if they are able to share it or not. So your role in cybersecurity, it's not just about being careful where you click, it's also about understanding how to control your likelihood of risk and taking action to do so. So these are the main callouts of what you can do for cybersecurity. The first one is lock down your login. We've talked about how being careful of what passwords you're using, not sharing those passwords. Be careful when you are logging into a public computer, or maybe you're using public Wi-Fi hotspot, and I'll talk a little bit later on about that. Next up is when in doubt, throw it out. This we know this is a thing about physical items. Every 7 years, they say, and with taxes or personal information that you might not need anymore, you should shred it. We do have a shredding event in the spring. It's in April. It's Saturday, April 9th, this upcoming year in 2022, out at the Salem Civic Center. It's called Secure Your ID Day. So if it's a physical copy, we would love to help you shred that and make sure that you're not leaving that around your house, which could create an easy access for somebody if they break in. This also applies to your computer as well, though. If you have information on your computer, or maybe in your email, and you're holding on to it that has private information, if somebody hacks into your computer or hacks into your email account, or even if maybe it's a social media account or a website account you've created, they can gain access to that information. So if you no longer need it and you don't need to keep a copy of it, trash it. Another is keeping a clean machine. So this ties back to making sure you are getting updates for all of your devices. You're running security checks with software, whether it's downloaded malware or virus protection. Next is back it up. If you do have information on your computer that you need, make sure it's stored elsewhere. Whether that is another hard drive that you keep at home, or maybe you're using the cloud. If you're using the cloud, do be careful, or a cloud service, do be careful with what information you're sharing and what is the cloud platform's privacy policies and security policies in place. So do your research before you just decide to back anything up online. Next is owning your online presence. We've talked about making sure you know what you're posting online, what you're adding to social media. Also, make sure you know all the accounts you've signed up for. A lot of times people might sign up for an account and then never use it again, but you've already given that information and it's out of sight, out of mind. You never think about it again, but that business could still have your information, and or if that business is hacked or they sell that information because you didn't check the privacy policies and terms and conditions, you won't even remember that you did that. So make sure you know what you're signing up for and what you're posting online. Another is share with care. So not only sharing, but also be careful what you're downloading. Make sure if you are sharing information with somebody, or if you're sending money, even sharing monetary information, you know who you're actually talking to or who you're working with. You can always, if it's a business, please check at bbb.org or call us. We'd be happy to check and see if the person or the person or business you're talking with is the person that you think it is. Also, for getting savvy about Wi-Fi hotspots. This is a big one if you are out and about. I know my mom, whenever we go to a store, she will log on to the Wi-Fi network that the store provides, thinking that it's saving her money from and not using her Wi-Fi and her network. But what this does is, if it's a public network, it opens her up to hackers and scammers that can also hop onto that Wi-Fi network, and since it's public, and then they can see who is using the Wi-Fi network and then hack into your device as well. So I am very hesitant about logging on or using Wi-Fi networks in public places. So what happens if a cyber attack does occur? So first, report it to ic3.gov, which is the Internet Crime Complaint Center, and also please report it to BBB.org Scam Tracker. If you did lose money, you can report it to the police department and see if what actions they can take as well. Recovery process, there are 2 links right there that I have for bbb.org. Both of them are wonderful. The second one specifically has great resources for businesses for your home devices and what you can do to make sure you have protected all of your devices and your IoT devices and protect your information. This also links different organizations that have more information, different software that is helpful that you can research more. It can go even into further detail about online safety for children, online safety about your business. So that's a great resource. Next up is the Federal Trade Commission, FTC. If you did have a cyber attack and you think that your information has been compromised, do report it to the FTC. Go to consumer.gov, ID theft, or identitytheft.gov. You can even call that number, let them know what has happened, because they can help you recover your identity, and they'll provide steps on how to do so. The other thing you can do is check your credit report, and we suggest checking it 3 times a year. So even if you don't think an attack has happened to you, do check your credit report. We've seen in the past news, like what might happen with a company is an attack happened and they had access to all of the consumer information. Well, you as a consumer don't hear about it until months or a year later. So there are multiple months, up to a year or more, that somebody has had your information and you didn't know. So it is very important to check your credit report 3 times a year. It is free, and you can do this by going to annualcreditreport.com. We suggest checking it every 4 months. You can check it first with Equifax, then 4 months later, Experian, then 4 months later, TransUnion. It's free. And if you think you were targeted or scammed, or if you know somebody that was targeted or had been scammed, please report it to us. Please have them call us. We want to help, and this helps us protect other consumers. And this is our last slide, but we know from research that hearing about scams is the best way to protect yourself from scams and protect others from scams. And as you can see, word of mouth is the second highest, word of mouth is the second highest way that people learn about scams. So either through presentations like this, or through you all who have now learned all about scams and are now scam experts. You can talk to individuals about about different scams that are happening, how to protect yourself. There's the be the squeaky wheel. If a lot of times people who have been scammed don't want to talk about it. Maybe they don't know they've been scammed. Maybe they're embarrassed about it. So if you make this less of a taboo subject, and if you're worried about somebody or if you think they might be in danger, just ask them if they're talking to anybody online. Maybe mention different scam tactics. And hopefully you might be when you say that, that person will be like, all of those sound similar. Those are red flags. Maybe I should look further into what is happening to me. So be the person that helps them hopefully not get scammed or realize that they are part of a scam. And then again, this is my name and my email address if you have any questions. This is the BBB phone number for Western Virginia. Please feel free to call or give out this number. That is my extension. You don't have to call me. If you just call that first number, we have wonderful individuals that would be happy to answer any questions, whether looking for a business or maybe you think it might be a scam. So we're happy to be here, and we're happy to provide those resources. So thank you all so very much.